What is a 3-metre Mako shark doing in the shallow waters off Waiheke Island? We were warned that this could be the summer of sharks. So is this a sign of things that could come, and should we be worried about it? Marine biologist Dr. Riley Elliott, Sharkman, is with us this morning. We're going to show people a video of this, Riley, and as we're doing that, tell us what are you noticing about this shark, not just where it is, but its condition?
Yeah, well, Morena, and what a way to start the day. Beautiful imagery here. Jack Sawyer's a local guy on the beach, filmed this with his drone, and what you see firstly is just the amazing beauty of it. This blue, purple, iridescent, telltale shape of a shark, clearly in very shallow water, which, isn't what the lady swimming her morning swim 100 meters away wanted to wake up to. But, sharks are in the ocean, and when we put drones up, we see them much more often. But what's telltale about the shark is its color. Most animals' color represents where they live. Bronze whalers are the same color as the sand we're seeing here, but this shark is blue. It should live out in the open blue ocean, being a large Mako shark, which hunt swordfish and marlin. They don't come into this environment. This isn't their natural habitat. And the other concerning thing is this animal's very skinny for how big it is. And I can just tell that because I have a lot of experience swimming with these animals offshore. And they're very chunky sharks. They're like the size of a great white, basically, at this size. So this animal's out of place, and it's skinny. So like I said, it's a skinny polar bear in the forest. And what that means is it's compromised, generally. It's like when you see wolves, they're generally only sick. And that is, sad for an indicator of the environment, but also it can be potentially dangerous for people because animals like that can become opportunistic out of desperation.
Yeah, that was my next question. Could we become lunch if they're that desperate?
Yeah, well, most sharks are very polite because they've evolved to eat specifically what they're after. But just like us, if you start starving, you can do desperate things to feed yourself. And a Mako shark eats very big prey. It eats marlin and swordfish, when they get to this size, these Makos. And I've swum with them, and they're quite formidable because, to be frank, they're out there in their world. If you go out there, what are you asking for? But when one comes inshore like this, you would not want to run into that in your morning swim, primarily because it could be jeopardized and hungry and do something, abnormal. But I think what's important here, beyond the beauty of the imagery, the potential fear of it, is sharks are an indicator species. They're what we call a keystone species. And if you have an animal that's skinny, hungry, and out of its environment, it reflects that where it should be is not healthy. And, we've seen milky flesh snapper. We've seen scallops disappearing, all this in the Hauraki Gulf region. And now we've got apex predators moving to areas they shouldn't be and are skinny. And I think that's an absolute sign of an ecosystem that's unhealthy and sick. And we have things like the Hauraki Gulf Marine Park that's coming up for, submissions. And the government really needs to make a change because right now there's bans on trolling and purse seining, but it's just simply where they already don't do those practices. So, protecting this environment, bringing it back to good health, is not only good for the ecosystem, tourism, recreation, but also to keep apex predators from perhaps turning up on our doorstep hungry where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm being cynical here for a second, Riley, but how do we know that this is not just a one-off, that this is not an animal who has a particular disease or illness that's not related to the environment in the Hauraki Gulf?
Yeah, like I say, it's not just a one-off. We've got snapper that are sick on a broad spectrum. We've got scallop fishes collapsing, crayfish collapsing, invasive seaweeds. If you can't take the skinny polar bear turning up on your front doorstep analogy to heart, what are you going to take? It's like climate change. All the facts are there. This is one of them of many. And, do you want to sit here and wait for it to bite you in the butt? Or do you want to, take some action, get the ocean back to a healthy ecosystem and keep Mako sharks where they should be? I guess, which way do you want to take it?
Yeah, I definitely would like to keep my butt intact, Riley. Hey, just by the by, I understand everything you're saying, but if you were on the beach in Waiheke that day, would you have seen a fin above the water? Can you tell from a distance?
Yeah, well, that's actually where the drone footage came from. Was Jack's girlfriend, I think, was going for a swim and saw the fin, and so then he went and got the drone and put it up. And other bystanders also saw it. For people's mindset, these sharks travel up to 100 kilometers a day. So very unlikely that shark's hanging around in that area. I had multiple swimmers message me and I said, look, be aware of your environment. If you see that thing swimming there, probably just take the day off. But at the end of the day, there's sharks in the ocean. There's avalanches in the snow. it's the wild environment, but we should take heed of big signals like this because they are reflections of the ecosystem they come from.
Yeah, totally. 100 kilometres a day, that's an incredible run rate, isn't it? Riley, thank you very much for that. Great to see you as always. Marine biologist Dr. Riley Elliott with a message about the health of our waters, particularly the Hauraki Gulf.